It's like you got a live stream of the straight up and down mode.
Oh, are you doing a shorts live stream?
Who knows? It's a mystery to everyone.
Or are you doing a normal one?
I don't know, but we got technical difficulty. Dude. I thought I was just doing a normal one, to tell you the truth.
Well, you might be doing like one of them shorts live streams if it's making you go into that camera.
Dude.
Why is it saying nobody's watching?
Hey, there's nobody is there.
I mean,
That's alright. I can pass you this charging cable over there.
hey, look.
Take the charging cable. The charging cable's under. Oh, that's all that is seen?
Maybe I need to refresh.
Yeah. Plug the charging cable in there. Oh, that might be it. Oh yeah, we charging now. We had dirt in the charging port and it was not charging earlier.
Oh, it's working.
It's running now though, right?
Yep.
Like it's I'm watching it in the live preview. It has a little bit of a lag.
Yeah.
So you've got some chat over there. I have some chat over here. We don't need the microphone.
Oh, it is a shorts live stream.
What the heck is a shorts live stream?
So, like, you know how you can, like, scroll through the shorts?
Yeah.
Sometimes a live stream will pop up. So, like, people will be coming in and out. So, see, there's, like, 3 people watching now.
Oh, I got it. Alright, so we made it a shorts live stream. We will learn to do a different live stream next time. So, I'm trying to see if we can tell participants. There you go. Dude, I only see that I have myself as a participant.
Oh, for me it says 10 people are watching right now.
What? And there's an echo. You gotta turn your volume down some. So a couple things. I wanted to back up and take a look at some of the stats from the channel because I think that's important to reflect back on from where we've been and where we are now. And I'm in the YouTube studio right now, and I'm just going to back up just a little bit. You tell me if there's any questions that come into the chat. But you know, I took like 9 months off, and we weren't making any videos. And I think that reason I took some time off, and this was probably right after we came back from vacation in July, and it was mainly due to some people at work were talking about they had seen my channel, they started talking about my videos, and I think it was a little shocking for me at first because I didn't realize people at work were starting to see the videos and talk about them. So when you're a leader of a pretty big organization with many layers, I thought that I didn't want to get involved in a lot of that. So I put the channel on hold for a while. And there was also a certain process that you have to go through every so many years that I was going through as well. So I thought it was a good time to put some of that stuff on pause and reflect back on things. Meanwhile, a lot of advances happened with the tiny house while I took that time off, and we didn't take a lot of videos of a lot of that stuff back then. A lot of cool stuff that we were doing. I think one of the most important ones was like when you, and we should have filmed this, when we went to the scales at, I think it was at the Flying J or Pilot truck stop to weigh the tiny house. And you realize that, hey, I got a 27 pound rated axle on this tiny house, and this thing weighs like, and I think at that moment in time it weighed 4,000 pounds. And I wasn't tracking what we were putting into it and how we were building it. So it was like massively overweight. I don't know how we got there and back, because if it was a 2,700 pound rated axle, then I had the equivalent tires on those axles. But we made it there and back. And immediately I started doing my homework. Gotta swap this out. And that's when I started comparing, contrasting different manufacturers of axles and what it would cost. And once you're in that 5,000 pound range, you're gonna have electric brakes. That's a 15-inch wheel. All these things. And I think we also went to a 6-lug bolt pattern. So it was a lot of homework and compare and contrast that went into that before we made a decision to upgrade that. And it was the right thing to do. Yeah.
So they asked, how much was the cost of the tiny house?
Oh, man. Yeah. So there is a spreadsheet. And I think when the spreadsheet had reached, we might have been in the neighborhood of $10,000 or $12,000 at that moment in time. So yeah, it's never what you think it's going to be when you start building it and getting into it. And the more you want to try something that is more resilient, that you know if you spend a couple more dollars to buy the right thing, that you're not going to have to replace it later. So I could have went half the price on that heat pump, but I went with, I think it was called Della Hyperheat. So it's 12,000 BTUs or 1 ton, and it was like $1,000 or $1,200 for basically a 1-ton window unit that's a little tricked out. So you could have paid half the price for something easier. So yeah, I could have went a lot cheaper on some of those things. Probably cheaper on, well, I went pretty cheap on the windows, I'll tell you that. Couldn't have gone any cheaper on the doors. The bed that's in there was originally a twin bed that was converted into 2 benches, and then we made up that table to go between those 2 benches, and then we made it back into a bed again, right? So some stuff was given. But I do have a spreadsheet, and that, no matter how much we may not like, where you log in when you're at Lowe's, or you log in when you're at Tractor Supply, and they ask for your phone number, no matter how much we don't like that, it made it super easy for me to log into Lowe's, Home Depot, Northern, Harbor Freight, whatever, and track all the different investments I was making on the tiny house to go into the spreadsheet. But I'd say right now it's probably like $14,000 all in, because we did spend a couple $100 for the electric tongue jack, which saved my knuckles quite a few times, because when we had the manual jack, my knuckles were right there at that shower. The shower was a total afterthought also, because originally this was more like a shed. Ethan said, I want you to build me a house. And I said, hey man, I think the easiest thing that we could build for you is something that is on an 8-foot by 8-foot, dimensional platform. And that's what we did. And then I had this realization, oh man, we could put this thing on a trailer. It could be a tiny house, or we could move it around the yard, or we could take it to West Virginia to our camp. And it just started growing legs from there. So it's like, what else could we try with this? And what more could we do over here? And if we spend a little bit more time on this, we could get this out of it. The number of batteries started to grow. Originally it was one 100 amp hour battery, then it was 2, then it was 3, then it was 4, right? It became 4 because I wanted to see, could it be self-sustaining one day after another, after another, after another, because once the sun goes down, you need all those amp hours to keep it running at night. And as a heat pump, it takes a lot more energy to run than it does cooling during the summer, believe it or not. So that's how we got to 4 batteries. And in one of those videos, and maybe in the main video, I give a lot of links to the type of battery that we used, and the inverter and everything else. And I wasn't watching to see if there were any other questions that came in there while I was going on and on about that. And I took my glasses off too. Yeah. So, cost. I will go back and update the spreadsheet and see what we've got invested in it at this point. It's good to know. And then, just like anybody, these wind turbines turbine. If you look at that comment, that gets me every time because it's like, is it a pine tree? Is it a pine tree? Is it a turbine? Is it a turbine? And my comment back was, I think it depends on, I went to nuclear power school long ago. That's why you see lots of Navy stuff in the background. And I was on the USS Enterprise and reactor department. If you ever saw the 1996 Med Cruise cruise book, there's a 2-page spread. I'm right there opening up one of the viewing ports into the top hat of probably 4 alpha reactor. They just asked me to pose for a picture. I had a paintbrush in one hand, so it's pretty funny. But probably going through nuclear power school, any of my instructors were from the South, were probably saying turbines, so that sticks with it instead of turbine. So gas turbines, steam turbines, et cetera, right? So that's what sticks with you as life goes on. But I started coming across those wind turbines on Amazon, and I'm like, and then people started talking more and more about VBOR. VBOR this, VBOR that. Do you see all this stuff they make? Do you think there's any legitimacy to any of this stuff, right? So I was like, well, hell, that turbine's not too much money, but maybe I should get the 800 watt. Maybe it'll actually do something versus, what is that lesser one, like a 500 watt or whatever it is. And I looked at the difference between the 3 blades, the 5 blades, and, one is easier to start than the other, so it can run at lower speeds. So at lower speeds, you can start producing some energy. Well, we started to learn, yeah, it's great. Lower speed, it starts turning, it's producing 1 watt. So you need some higher winds, then they need to be sustained. So I've done some measuring and some monitoring of it over time and watched it. And I want to say once you got over closer to 10 miles an hour, you were at like 5 watts or so. And then I watched some of the gusts that came across, and it would jump up to 30 watts. It would jump up to 200 watts. I saw one time. So now that the tiny house is on top of the mountain in West Virginia, we're going to get the wind turbine back erected up there. And we're just going to use that same height that we had last time and start to see what we can get out of it. And I do have the anemometer that's on there, so I can see what the wind speed is. And it is on a USB connection into the anemometer itself, the handheld. So I can probably extend that with a USB extension and get that all the way up there next to the wind turbine, so I can actually get the speed next to the wind turbine, not the speed at like 5 foot off the ground. And Rainer the Boss says hi. What's up, Rainer the Boss? Thank you. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. And like I was saying, with the wind turbine, I also have the garage over there, and the garage is probably 20, 25 feet tall, 30 feet tall. There's a possibility we could go ahead and get the wind turbine up and build it off of the garage, and we can get even higher because, the higher you go, there's more wind. That's obviously why the large, like 2 megawatt wind turbines, 5 megawatt wind turbines are so tall and so large. So they're capturing, a different stream of wind that is way higher than where we are. So that would be a test that we could do is try to change the height with it and see what we get in different views from that and view that data, compare and contrast. So I'm curious to see what it'll do over there, because where the tiny house is on top of the mountain, you don't have any trees, probably line of sight a good 80 feet in every direction. So I can take wind from all directions, good 80 feet, and we can get the maximum surface area across those blades and see how it goes. So curious to see what that data is going to yield over time. I did want to see if anybody had any questions over anything else. Yes.
Make a video.
Yeah.
To tell people to join.
Yes.
Ready?
Yeah. Hey, come and join us on our live stream. Is that good? Is that a good video for you?
Wait, say like, come and join on Temz Offgrid.
Yeah. Hey folks, come join us on Temz Offgrid. We're live streaming right now, going through your questions and really talking about tiny house and cost of it, which is embarrassing sometimes. Right, hope that was good. Anyways. All right, next thing, from Tiny House, some of the other good I'm going back thinking about what were some of the videos that get the most views on the channel over the last, I think we've had this channel for 18 months, 2 years, whatever it is, with that like 9-month break that we had at some point. There was a tire changing video that I did on there using the Harbor Freight mini tire changer. If you go and look for that short on the channel, the short has, I think it's over 50,000 views. And a lot of people are like, man, that was great. This is one of the most straightforward, videos of how to use the Harbor Freight mini tire changer. And I was like amazed at that. And it's the short that got more views than the full length video, of course. Being a novice tire changer myself, there were a few things that obviously I got a lot of comments on that I should be doing differently. And one of those is making sure you're using plenty of soap in that process. So you won't be using brute force as much working on it. So that is one good thing I get from all the videos is the feedback from folks, coming back and saying, hey, have you looked at this? Have you tried that? And look, back to the tiny house. Did you notice that your 3-inch, gray water discharge is right on top of the axle? You could crack that pipe, break that pipe. Yes. And I will fix that. I just need to come back, saw it off, and change where that valve is. And the good thing is I've got a Fernco on there already. So all I have to do is shorten that pipe and Fernco it back on. So it'll be good to go. But back to like the most viewed video, Harbor Freight mini tire changer. And I think you go back and you look at what makes you successful on a channel. So obviously if I'm out there demonstrating how to use a tool, maybe that's pretty successful. Or I am going out there like with the tiny house and I'm showing what's possible if you put your mind to it and try everything, right? Because with that tiny house, we've got the wind and the solar. We have 2 different charge controllers. One that can do solar and wind, and then we have the one that's just dedicated to solar, the Renogy, and then the off-brand one. Pico Solar, I think is the name of it. And then we're trying to work with the foldable solar panels as well as that bifacial panel. And obviously the bifacial panel is not going to pick up anything from the other side of it because we're not using a reflective surface and the roof metal is black. But having the 250, the 200s, and look, in that one video I said it was like, I said the wrong number. It's like, what is it? 250, that's 450, that's 650, and that other 125 is 775. So I think I put 815 in the video, but it's really 775 watts of solar panels. And then you go back and you see what I can get out of those. You're not getting 775. There is a few videos where I was working on the solar heat exchanger using fans to push air through the labyrinth in the solar heat exchanger. And in some of those videos, I'll go through the math that is utilized in terms of a square meter of the sun's energy can give you like whatever it was, 3.6. Oh, here it is right here. My gosh. Here's some of those calculations over here. This is more BTUs to watts times the kilowatt. Yeah. If you go back and you find this video where I use this dry erase board in there, I go through a bunch of these calculations in the video, and I talk about how inefficient capturing the sun's rays are, and especially how inefficient solar panels are. So don't think for a moment that I'm going to run around here, wind turbine and solar panels, and this is awesome, and I'm getting so much energy. No. For like a square meter of the sun's energy, you're only getting a fraction of that, and then there are D-rates for solar panels because they're only so efficient. Probably, I think the number that comes to mind is like 20% efficiency out of the whole solar panel. So that's why when you see somebody's roof that has so many solar panels across the whole roof, they need all that surface area just to be able to do a fraction probably of what that house requires. But yeah, if you go back and look at one of those solar heat exchanger videos, I'll go through a lot of the math about capturing the sun's heat, whether it's capturing it with a solar heater or whether it's capturing it for energy in a solar panel. All right, back to the most popular videos. What are some of the other videos you can think of that were some of the most popular that we had on there that got lots of likes? I don't have the stats pulled up. I have the chat over here. The shorts. It seems like right now we're caught in an algorithm thing where YouTube will run the shorts and we'll get up to 1,000, 1,200, or 1,300 views, and then it turns us off. Of course, that's due to people not staying on the video, or not liking the video, or not sharing the video, or not commenting on the video. So we have a lot of the videos right now that they'll show 1,000 and stuff like that, but it's just how the algorithm is processing the videos. We have some videos that are on there where whether I'm playing a joke on them or they're playing a joke on me, like with the tape thing. My gosh, when they started coming across those tape videos, and I saw the tape videos, I'm like, here we go, and it happened. And then there was one where, I think there's this one video where I come running into the room banging on a pot one time, and I scared everybody. It was great. The dog was even scared. It was awesome. There is also, and this is on one of our playlists, where we'll put a lot of the funny videos in different playlists. Like the funny playlist, you'll have the tiny house playlist, you've got the solar heater playlist. So try to keep things organized into the playlist so it's kind of easier to find stuff when you're looking for it. So Ethan, I wanted to ask you a couple questions. What did you think about, or did you hear in the news, and it happened a couple times last week, these loud booms that people heard across large areas? I think one was in South Carolina, North Carolina, and one was up in up north, I don't know, Rhode Island or something. Did you hear anything about that?
No.
And then people didn't know what it was, I thought it was an earthquake. My house shook, my windows shook, my dogs are running around, my security camera captured this sonic boom.
What?
Yeah, so sometimes when meteors are entering the Earth's atmosphere, you'll get this boom. And we have a video here where the meteor came through West Virginia. And I captured it on the cameras in West Virginia, and I sent it into the news, and then the news played it on TV. The sounds that we captured for the meteor that came across West Virginia. And this was probably, could be 3 or 4 years ago. So, space junk entering the atmosphere can make these sonic booms. Obviously a jet, going super fast is going to do it as well. But what I was seeing in the news, there were a lot of places that were saying there was no meteor, there were no aircraft, there was no space junk. We don't know what made the noise. And I'm like, how do you not know what makes a noise that shakes people's houses, makes animals run around, and dogs and cats get together all of a sudden? So all these things are happening, right? But we don't know why. So I thought that one was very interesting. So I'm surprised you didn't hear about that. Nobody talked about it this weekend?
No.
Very good. Well, we're going to keep our eyes on it because Disclosure Day is coming up on June 12th. So I don't know if anybody has seen that. There's been a lot of trailers for Disclosure Day. Dogmaster 705 says hello. What's up? So, Disclosure Day. Do you know what, Ethan, what Disclosure Day is about?
No.
You haven't watched any of the trailers?
What?
You haven't watched any of the trailers for Disclosure Day?
No.
I bet a lot of our fans have. So, Disclosure Day, as far as I know it, right? Steven Spielberg. Have you heard of Steven Spielberg?
I think so.
Yeah. He's been around for a while. He might have some very important movies. So, theoretical, right? Hypothetical, whatever. That there's other non-earthly entities that may exist on planet Earth. And there may be those among us that may already have some of that alien DNA within us. So, Ethan, you could be an alien. So I just want to tell you. I just want to tell you now.
I saw that video.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be a surprise when June 12th comes
Okay.
that you're an alien. Yeah, like
I watched that video.
what?
I watched that video. with
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Where the lady is like on the screen and she's like news reporter or something, and all of a sudden it's like, click, 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 and then people like can understand what they're saying. If you can understand what they're saying, you're alien. That's right. Yeah. So, that's probably why all these UFO files are being released right now too. You know, getting people prepped up for that. Like, we got Steven Spielberg. You know, hey, if he says it's, you know, that's true, right? Take it for what it's. I'm just kidding. But you got a movie coming out. You got UFO files being released a little bit, batches at a time. You got all these things flying around, anti-gravity, all this stuff. And you got a movie that's about alien DNA. And there was a period of time here recently where a lot of people did a whole lot of testing and might have gave up some DNA, so, whether they knew it or not. So now they know who among us is the alien or not. Have you thought about that? So if you did any of that testing that a lot of people were doing a few years ago, they have your DNA and they know if you're an alien or not. Think about that. That's pretty deep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The last thing I want to talk about before we head out and close out our weekend is the state of the economy. So, I don't know if you've noticed lately, but around here, gas prices have been dropping again. So, I don't know how that is with the Strait of Hormuz. It's open, it's closed, it's open, it's closed. But at some point, we'll get past this and we won't have to talk about it again. But I'm just happy to see that the gas is not $6 a gallon or $5 a gallon or whatever. It's been dropping around here lately, and I'm pretty damn happy about that because there are a lot of projects that we're doing at camp right now, and you'll see in the videos, I'll have the dump trailer. So if I got the dump trailer and I'm hauling 57, 21As, or I'm hauling the tractor, or I'm hauling debris back and forth, and you're getting anywhere from 8 to 10 miles per gallon, and the price of diesel being what it is, I appreciate that, you know, the fuel price comes on down. I watch different things, just like everybody else does, and for what it's worth, I don't like a lot of the skies falling, but I like to hear what a lot of people's ideas are and stuff like that. But, you know, a lot of the ideas were, hey, we're using all the reserves that we have right now. And we usually run at a certain level of reserves. And we're able to buffer if something happens. Well, if what some of the folks are saying on their channels is true, we've been buffering things for quite some time. How long can you buffer before you see the impact of that? And if the Strait of Hormuz has been closed for as long as it has been closed, and to reopen it means we get to grab all these mines out, like a video game, and maybe that's what it takes, right? Some really good video game players get together and, you know, come up with a strategy and some algorithms to pull all these mines out, or some minesweepers. But even opening it will take time to dismantle, remove, move, etc., all the mines that are in there. So trickle down economics, what does that look like long term? And look, I hope it's not too bad. I hope we pull out of this without getting too far into the weeds on anything that's political or anything like that. But I sure would like the price of fuel to come on down again. So let's see where we are as we come into June and July with all of that. Because I got a lot of trips to make back and forth to camp as we're making a lot of the improvements. So, all right. we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Weather was really good and mild around here. Temperatures will pick up through this week, but we won't have any rain until, I think, Sunday. Because we just came out of that 7-day straight of rain where we got close to 5 inches of rain in West Virginia. So that's pretty impressive. And I had diverted as much of that rain as I could into the retention pond. And I think that did pretty well. I estimate right now there's probably between 15 and 18,000 gallons of water in the retention pond now. And eventually we'll get that made into a dry hydrant. And that'll help the community up there. So, all right, folks, we'll see y'all next time. And take care, everybody. And you can shut it down from my phone over there, Ethan.